we're back with another episode of the Pristine Connections podcast. I'm here with Nielsen Hernandez. Welcome back.
Hey, well, thanks for inviting me and having me out at the podcast, the Pristine podcast again. It's always good to spend some time and talk, right? And tell you guys a little bit more about what we do.
Yeah, I know you've been busy, so we appreciate you taking time. Let's just kind of dive right in. From the last time that we saw you and talked, where's business at right now? How have things been going?
Man, things have been going great. Thank God, it's always another day, another opportunity.
Yeah.
I always tell people that when I see people in traffic, instead of getting mad, I'm like, there goes opportunity. That's going to be a bunch of clients potential clients, right? So, yeah. Let's look at every circumstance out there. There's a new way to help someone or be helped by someone, right?
Yeah.
That's just it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're doing a lot of, home remodels, construction, roofing. What are some of the biggest misconceptions people have about your industry, or industries, I should say?
So, since we've been talking here for the last few minutes, I've been thinking about some misconceptions and construction. I think I've heard someone, I don't know if that statistic is still true or not, but I think we were the ones in the industry with the less credibility right after politicians, right? So no one trusts contractors because we have bad reputation, right?
Yeah.
Like taking money from people, not coming back. And I'm pretty sure that's happens every day.
Yeah.
Like someone taking a deposit and I guess I would say one of the misconceptions is that people think we're all contractors are all the same, and there's nothing farther from the truth, right? Sometimes I go to clients' houses and like we have this lady, we're doing a roof next week, and she literally paid me the whole thing in advance. Like I was just like, no, just pay for the deductible. I can come back and collect when we do the roof. She's like, no. When can we give you the money? And there's a lot of good people that like trust, put their trust in. They just maybe they want to get that out of the way.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't trust themselves with money. Who knows what the deal is?
Right.
But there's a lot of people out there, and unfortunately, there's a lot of bad contractors out there. But I guess the misconception is not every contractor that's out there, or not every roofer that's out there, is out there to get you and do you wrong.
Right.
There's a lot of people in the industry that are very supportive. I have a lot of friends. I probably have more than 10 friends that own roofing companies, and they're all very supportive. A lot of them are part of other organizations that we go and learn and educate ourselves just to be better. How can we help the customer? How can we prevent people from basically give them advice, and how can we help them not to get scammed and stuff like that?
Yeah.
So that's but again, do your research. It's like I always say that. Do your research, talk to people, talk to your neighbors, talk to contractors, that meet a couple people and go with your gut feeling. Like if something is too sketchy or something is too good to be true, just pace yourself. Don't do things in a hurry or without doing the proper analysis of the situation.
Absolutely. We've had, obviously, I guess storm season's really just done at this point. Like now we're into the heat of the summer and stuff, but I'm sure you're still dealing with a lot of the storms that we've had, and there were a lot of companies that just kind of came out of the woodworks too, just to try to help people. And how do you how do you combat some of that? Because I'm sure there's door knockers absolutely everywhere.
I don't think there's anything wrong with door knockers at all. I think what's wrong, because there's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of good people out there really try to do the right thing, and obviously they do this for a living, so they want to be the first on the scene so they can get the job and they can earn your trust and put a roof as soon as possible so you can be back to normal. But I'll say if you pay somebody to come and cover up your like you have any skylights or anything that is broken, that doesn't make you it's not an obligation that you have to go with that roofer.
Yeah.
At that point, you paying for a service. You can pay $500, $1,000, a couple $1,000 depending on the damages. And then from that point on, like, hey man, I don't know you. Let me do a little bit of research. Thank you for helping me out. Nothing wrong with that. You know what I mean? They are going out there looking for a service, offering a service. And just like everything else, you go out there, you offer a service, you get paid. And if but if people don't feel comfortable with them, they shouldn't go with them. You know what I mean? They should do. Hey, you're a storm chaser. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with that. But I appreciate you came to my house. I'll pay you your money. Please give me a receipt and let's move on. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I think that's a big thing. But yeah, just be careful out there with that. I mean, unfortunately, as humans, a lot of us want to get back to normal as soon as possible, and I see that on
Yes.
almost every claim that I have, whether it's a
Absolutely.
flood on the inside. I go and talk to people and I'm like, look, there's still going to be a lot of back and forth on the negotiation with the insurance regarding the scope of work. Like, you just have to be patient. I mean, most projects that I do on the inside, a flood or anything like that, I wouldn't do any fire because it's too messy. But like for floods and stuff like that, typically it's like 1 to 3 months before we can have enough money from the insurance to where you don't have to come out of pocket,
Yeah.
other than your deductible, and
Right.
most everything that needs to be covered is covered. And that the only thing is, insurance knows that. The insurance knows that you want to get your stuff back as soon as possible and
Yeah.
try to wear you out. So for people listening to this thing, be patient, do your research, but be patient. That's the main key. That's the key for a successful project.
Yeah, absolutely. How have industry standards changed since you've started your businesses? I know you're an entrepreneur at heart.
Well, I mean, I think things are easier for some people and a little bit harder for others. Just like every time there's a change on the trends. I mean, when I started my first business in 2008, and it was a little bit of word of mouth, and then in 2011 I went like full throttle. I was like, all right, my job, bye bye, and I started like literally I started the companies that I own now. I started them back in 2011, and at the time there was like Angie's List was a big thing.
Yep.
We did a lot of Angie's List. We did some Home Advisor. We did basically anything that we could to get our name out there. But at the time, Angie's List was huge. I mean, it was like a huge help. We got I got for every $1,000 that I would invest, I would get $500,000 in business. So it was great.
Yeah.
But nowadays, that's a lot harder because with social media, that's why I say it's harder for some people, easier for others, right? So now with social media is if you have a lot of followers on social media, you get a lot of phone calls, make a lot of noise. And now you can have a personal page and talk about what you do.
Yeah.
When I started, you couldn't do that. I mean,
Right.
there was only the phone book and like yellow pages and a little bit of the internet, and that was it. There
Yeah.
was no YouTube. Maybe it was around, but it wasn't used as this today. So that
Right.
has changed quite a bit since I started. But we all have the same opportunities now. If you put I feel like the field is a little bit more plain for everybody to play, and you just have to keep up with the trends, keep on evolving, keep on adapting,
Yeah.
for you not to fall behind. But
Sure.
that's about it. I mean, I think that will keep, even for the people that are new right now, 10, 15 years, if they don't catch up with the new trends and evolve, it's gonna
Yeah.
the same thing is gonna happen. So,
Sure.
yeah.
What would you say is like an unpopular opinion that you personally have about your industry?
Unpopular opinion.
I know. I love that question because you hear everybody else's opinions, but we never really think about like our own that we have about our industry or things that might, I don't know, just surprise some people.
See, a lot of people probably are going to, and I was talking to Andrew the other day with one of the homeowners that we have, that I have out in Arlington, about, I wish there was some type of, like, how did you call it, Andrew? It said like social something, because like right now you can go in a restaurant, you don't like it, and you might be the most unhappy person.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna go and give that person a bad review. You're gonna
Yeah.
talk bad about their services. You can trash out somebody today, like easy,
Yeah.
without like any remorse, right? You're just like, hey, don't go buy from this shop. If you have
Yeah.
enough audience, people will follow you, right? And that
It's
could
true.
create a big issue.
Yeah.
But that to me, and we've been going through that. It's a double-edged sword on as far as reviews and whatnot,
Sure.
because. Sometimes, at times, I wish there was a review where you could review homeowners,
Yeah.
and say, you know what, this homeowner, Social credit score. Yeah, there we go. Like it sounds too conspiracy theory type
Yeah.
of deal. But at times I wish there was like, oh yeah, that homeowner in so and so house, yeah, don't work for them. They are, like pretty
Yes.
picky and they don't want to pay and they're rude. And like I've had a lot of experiences where like if there wasn't for like you have to keep your cool, you can just walk out and be like, hey, you know what, don't be disrespectful, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But they have the higher I guess hand, just because you try to provide a service, they're rude to you and you're just like, well, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, sir, thank you very much. And they take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So that's the only unpopular thing that sometimes, and thank God I don't run a lot into those people, because like I'm pretty good when I go to meet someone. It has to be it's a two-way street, right?
Yeah.
If you want to do business with me, we have to like each other,
Yeah.
and we have to respect each other. And
Right.
that to me is the key for any successful negotiation, every successful relationship. Every time I meet someone, I'm like, we're gonna get married for the next 3 to 6 months, which is how long this project is gonna take, for the next week, 2 weeks.
Yep.
And that to me is, if we make things clear, then the whole thing would be very straightforward. People are happy.
Yep.
And that's the only thing. But unfortunately, there's a lot of people out there that just, and I don't know that you ever be able to do anything about it, but it's just one of those things that sometimes is a little frustrating. Like, how come
Yeah.
you can talk about me, but I cannot talk about you?
I
Like,
know.
you
Yeah, I'm trying to be professional here.
Trying to
but
be
right
professional
now,
here,
yeah.
and you're screaming at me and disrespecting me and my company.
know.
But other than that, no. I mean, I think for the most part, you just have to be professional, train yourself, and meditate so you can keep up with that and
I
move
know.
on.
You really have to compartmentalize. I mean, there's always going to be people out there that are just unsatisfied. No matter what you do, you could just make a mistake, fix it, and they'll still be upset.
And I
you
think
know?
we've all been there, where like you're going on traffic, you're having a bad day, and you're like, oh, look at that guy. You're just like mad at everybody. I think we've all been like that at one point.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, you have to move on. You know what I mean? Like, something bad happens. Okay, let's just, all right, that happens yesterday or that happens earlier today. Let's just not ruin that 1 minute or those 10 minutes, ruin the rest of the day. You know what I mean? Or make it any worse than what it already is.
It reminds me of we have somebody in our neighborhood that ended up getting kicked out of the Facebook page because she just always complained about something. And I'm like, you're going to be great when the HOA board's actually created. Like, truly, like, she really cares about the neighborhood, and we love that. But delivery, like, she every day. And I'm like, all right, y'all, make sure your lawn's mowed. Don't have a basketball goal sitting out front, because your house is going to get pictures taken of it and posted online.
Post it online. That's funny. Like,
It's
well,
crazy.
there's nothing wrong with that. What I always tell people when they have a lot of complaints, I'm like, okay, can you bring 3 solutions for that complaint? How can we solve that?
I like that.
Because if you're just like complaining, but you're not bringing a solution, like, I'm not gonna be the solution. Let's put together a solution.
Yeah.
Because if you're not happy with this, how can we solve it, right?
Right.
How can we solve this thing? And we all make mistakes. If this is not something, if I'm doing something you don't like it, let's figure a way out. There's always a way that you can improve things.
Right.
But don't just be complaining all the time. Oh my God, they did this, they did that. Like, no.
Yeah.
I think, what can we do so that thing doesn't happen again?
Right. Well, it's clear expectations, communication, and just
Yeah,
being very
it's the main thing.
transparent. Like, let me help you. What do you need? What are some of the biggest risks that you've taken in your businesses?
That's funny.
A lot?
I've taken
I'm
a
just
lot
kidding.
of risks. A lot. Well, the first big risk I took was quitting my job, and without having contacts, I didn't even know how to charge. I didn't have any marketing plan. I didn't have any contractors. I didn't have. There is a book that's called the E-Myth. I'm not sure if anybody here have heard of that one, but I think anybody that's thinking of opening a business should first read that and
Yeah.
a couple times, because at the time when I started my business, I didn't know anything about business, nor pricing, nor materials, suppliers. All I was a technician with a big dream, right? I knew how to do my job, and I thought, oh, my boss is an idiot. He doesn't know what he's doing. I'm gonna go out and do it better. And so far, I think I've succeeded. But I've done a lot of, like, tripped a lot of the times
Yeah.
in order for me to come ahead because I wasn't prepared. That was the main thing, which I saw a lot of the things that I saw on my previous bosses. Then I started doing myself, and I was like, oh, I guess they weren't that wrong. Huh? They had a different perspective,
Sure.
right? And I don't think there'll ever be a day when the employee can look at the through the boss's shoes and vice versa. Like it's always like us people that have been employees before can remember somewhat what it was to be an employee, what it was to be misunderstood and mispaid or whatever. But like the employee, if they have not been a boss, then they don't know what it takes to take the risk of like, hey, I'm gonna go on and open up a business. Like you'd be surprised how many people nowadays. I'm like, hey, you want a sales position? And people don't want to risk. People just like, oh, can I get a salary, a base salary? I'm like, you think I get a base salary? I have to get up every single day and go and knock doors, talk to people, and be out there doing my best.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a base salary. My health and my willpower is my base salary.
Yeah,
That's all I get.
yeah.
So that's the only thing. Like that's other than that. I mean, I don't think I've taken a lost big money one time when I through a marketing guy that I rebranded my company. It used to be Nielsen's Painting and Remodeling, and I rebranded it to Nielsen's Remodeling and Construction. And even though I was like 10, 11 years in business, I committed a lot of mistakes by not doing enough research on that transition, what it was going to take. I had two business coaches at the time, and they were both from two different companies, and they were both pushing me like, oh, you need to get this, you need to do that, before I fully digested what I needed to do.
Yeah.
So that was a big loss for me because I didn't, like, I literally transitioned from doing projects that were like $3,000 to $150,000 to now doing projects that were, the average was like $150,000 to like $1 million plus. So yeah, well, that is basically what they told me that I needed to do to grow and to like not have to micromanage as many people and stuff.
Yeah.
That worked, but I didn't consider, or I never thought of like the behind the scenes on what I needed to do to make that happen.
Right.
And that was a big eye opener. Like, wow, like this was crazy.
Yeah.
But that was a big risk that I took by changing. We literally, one day we had a website with like 50 appointments per month from the website, people calling all the time. And at the time I was filtering probably 70-80% of the people that were calling my office. So I was getting, and I still was seeing 50 people a month, to like getting maybe 3 phone calls per week. I mean, per week, 3 appointments per month. So it was really bad. I mean, it was like we were all sitting at the office just looking at each other like, so what do you do today? Nothing. just and that was really painful, but it was a really good lesson that by taking some non-calculated risk, I had to learn the hard way. But thank God here we are, and making it and succeeding and happy. So
that's great. I love that. That's really good advice. I mean, I feel like everybody, it's always taking that first step. You you just have to take it, and which is a risk all in itself. But once you get past that first hurdle, you're just on your way at that point, and just leaning on your employees and peers and mentors and, other people.
Yeah. So the main thing was that when I read that book, and I wish I would have read it before, my business was what the author called like a teenage business, where you think you're rebel, like you're like, oh, my business needs to go to the next level, and I can do this and I can do that, and you take risks that you're not prepared for. You're not prepared properly for, because you haven't done your homework. You think, oh, I've been in business for so long. People know who I am. People recognize my name. People this, people that, and you think that you can like get away with anything, risk wise, and there's nothing farther from the truth when it comes to that. You have to prep.
Yeah.
And order for you to make that work. So.
Yeah. Well, what's next for you, you know, with your business? Are you wanting to start another business and tack on, or or what's just next for Nielsen's?
No. I think for now, with the two businesses, Nielsen's Remodeling and Black Gold Exteriors, I think the goal is to grow those mainly. So here's the funny thing. So Nielsen's Remodeling gives me a lot of. I enjoy that because it's the biggest transformations that you see on a house. It's like night and day, right?
Absolutely.
So we do projects that are like when I show people the before and after, it's like unbelievable. People don't even think it's the same place. But that's what is more rewarding for me, that change. But I think, and we're probably gonna keep that as a mid-size, I'm gonna call it, business. But what I really want to concentrate on growing and scaling is going to be the roofing business, which is like we're thinking of franchising that in the next 2-3 years, and that's gonna be the goal, to get it to grow to where we can create the systems and be able to like put that on autopilot, so we can grow that and help other people make money with it. Well,
That's
growing
great.
it.
Yeah, congratulations. That's a huge step. That's really great. Well, is there anything else that you want to share before we wrap? Anything else that you'd like everybody to know about?
What can I say? Well, no, but if somebody wants to know anything, or they want to sit with me for a face-to-face, if anybody needs any help or just want to brainstorm with me on any type of project they have going on, feel free to reach. They say that one learns when they're teaching and vice versa, right? So if they have any questions, they can reach to me. I enjoy, coffee, scotch, not beer, lunch. So we all have to eat, right? And I'm always in the Collin County area, somewhere between Auckland and Dallas, all the way to Prosper. You can find me if you can make some time and spend some lunch or happy hour with me. I'm happy to come out and let's talk business.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you so much for joining us again, and we will see you next time.
All right.